Welcome, everybody, to Den Excelsior, the mostly Marvel podcast. I'm your host, Ricky. With me, as always, is Dennis.
Uh, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. First show of 2025, episode 164. Talking, so our year in review. We're going to be talking about what we liked this year, what we didn't
Yeah.
like. We'll touch on Creature Commandos and the What If finale as well. Maybe talk about some news, but Dennis, how was your 2024?
My 2024 was pretty good. I'd say it's pretty good. There were some ups, there were some downs. I think overall, like as far as this pocket of my 2024, like the pocket where I get to like nerd out on content, it was probably some of the highlights for me. Like I think we had some awesome things to talk about all year long. They were pretty consistent throughout the year. That was fun. I think artistically, I set a goal last year at the beginning of the year, which was to have my interesting little brand of toy photography displayed in galleries throughout the whole year, every month. I succeeded at that goal. So I can't complain on those fronts for sure. Do I need to get a real job? Yeah, I probably do. So, yeah. How about you?
My 2024 was good.
I mean, if you had something to say about mine, that's fine too. I just wanted to give you the chance.
I mean, I definitely did not have a goal set. Our podcast grew more than it has in the past 3 years. So that was
true.
cool.
And also, like that's what I'm saying. In this pocket of the thing, it was really good for us. Yeah, I figured you would mention that.
We're getting there. We're still growing. We're still gonna do it whether you guys watch or not. It makes it all better if you guys do.
If you guys do
watch, yeah.
Oh, do watch. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We don't get a lot of people watching in the moment, but that's okay. We still appreciate that you come back and watch this later. My favorite thing, honestly, is the clips. Like the clips that we put out. You know, like it's no secret. We use Opus clips, obviously. It's the thing that's advertised all over TikTok all the time. Like, if you want to grow your brand, you've got to use Opus clips. Blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, like, the funniest thing for me about Opus clips is they'll always take my hot take where, you know, obviously I talk a lot. I talk a lot on this show. I say a lot of things. I cover a lot of ground. I also like to cover my bases. But my favorite part is when they'll take a hot take of mine where I just got done saying all the other things that are still valid, but it'll only take the part where I say the most controversial part. It'll put it on the internet, and then somebody will come in and try to correct me or tell me how stupid I am because I didn't mention X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, but I did if you actually watch the show.
That's not how it works.
I know that's not how it works. And so I'm not mad at it, but I would really appreciate for everybody that gets angry at everything I say on TikTok, just go check out the show, man. We're pretty comprehensive. We say
it's not like it's free or anything.
This show or Opus clip. Opus clip.
I mean, Opus, yeah, Opus not free.
Yes, this show is free, so come watch it, guys, and it's great. And we have fun. We nerd out. We just talk about all the nerdy things that come out all year long. And you know, sometimes I say things that definitely upset people, and it's amusing. Like it's
I challenge you in 2025 to do we need some more Legends in 30.
We'll see about that.
We'll see about that. Those videos still pull a lot of weight on our channel.
I do love my Marvel Legends, and I do love making videos out of them. You know what? I actually kind of like that challenge because I am trying to slow down on the acquisition of new ones for right now. But I could make more use out of the old ones.
What's the last Legends that you bought?
I got the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse set. And then I think
Wave 2?
The Wave 2. And then I still have the last set of anniversary ones coming is it anniversary? I don't remember what it is. You know,
Limited.
the Ghost Rider and
Yeah.
the Punisher and yeah, I still have those coming. That's where it is. I do have a pre-order that I placed before I stopped on the Secret Wars set that's in stores now. So I guess technically that's the last set. Yeah, but I did get a Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine figure for Christmas, so it's cool.
Ooh.
It's the Logan one where he's in the sweater.
Oh,
That comes with head.
he's
That comes
got
with
the
head pull.
lamest one.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. But
Blue suede shoes.
I like your challenge. I will try definitely to get some more Legends in 30, or I think I rebranded that as something else. But I will get more videos out there that show my love. It's not a secret, but it's my love of the action figures for these characters that we spend hours talking about all year long. So I'll see what I can get you there. Yeah. What about you? How was the rest of your holidays?
What was the rest of my holidays? Basically did nothing but watch sports because that's what I do. I really want to go see Nosferatu. I have not.
So do I.
I heard he hangs in that movie. Kind of curious.
Gotcha. Cool. Good to know.
What have we been watching? Skeleton Crew. I still show's fun. That show's fun. Star Wars. It makes me happy, that show.
I will say this. Mm-hmm. I was pretty bored by the newest episode, but I did appreciate that I finally got to learn how wheelchair people work in the Star Wars universe.
Right?
I did appreciate that. Like I never expected her to be a paraplegic, KB. And so that was cool. And I appreciate that the lesson that people got to learn, especially kids watching that show, mm-hmm. that everybody does things differently, you know? And so that was a cool message. The rest of the show was like, whatever, this is Goonies. It's just Goonies. If you watch Goonies, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's the same show. So it's fine. I do.
Is there a chance I watch Goonies and go, this is worse than Skeleton Crew?
I mean, you might, just because the Star Wars spin on it is neat, but like, I don't know. I think Goonies is a pretty timeless movie. I think it's Sean Astin's one of his first movies. You know what I mean? Like Samwise Gamgee.
Sam, yeah.
Yeah, and Josh Brolin, it's one of his earlier performances, and they're both really good. It's back when whatchamacallit, Corey Feldman was not a weirdo, so it's cool to watch
both
him.
Corey's in it, or just the one Corey?
Nah, just the Feldmans in this one. But then what's his name? Ke Huy Quan from Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is where he started in this and Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Those were his two big breakout movies.
Was the same summer?
It might have been, or it might have been a year apart. But like, yeah, no, he's great in Goonies. Like they're all. I think the kids are all just a little bit more charming and a little less annoying in Goonies, and I think that's why this one is. Okay.
I do like the kids in the show, though.
That's cool. I'm glad you like it. I watch it because I feel like I'm obligated to watch it, but I don't watch it because I love it. Like I think it's okay.
Is it? I'm trying to think. I mean, it's in the upper tier of those shows, though, isn't it? Would you say?
Nah.
It skews more Book of Boba Fett?
It's better than Book of Boba Fett, but it bores me. Like it because I just don't think that it's doing anything minus the disabled part that was really cool. I don't think it's doing a lot for the overall universe. Okay, we learned that there's a planet that is printing money. Okay, like it's not. It's a secret planet that prints money. It doesn't really, to me, that's not expanding the universe in any meaningful way that's huge. You know, like the that's impactful. I like it's cool, I guess, that we got to see suburbs in Star Wars for once. Cool. Like I don't hate the show. I don't find it as great as like other Star Wars shows, and I honestly I like the Acolyte more than the show.
Interesting.
I did. I
All right,
thought the
that's a take.
yeah, I thought the Acolyte was trying to do something
Mm-hmm.
new that really, it was pushing
Yeah,
that universe in cool ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until Yoda showed up.
Jedi not good media. Or Jedis are not good people. Media needs to more of that needs to exist.
Yeah. Like because I've just accepted that like Disney won't give me a Star Wars piece of media that does not have somebody in tune with the Force. Like I've just accepted that. So at least let me see the ones that are crappy at it, like, or that are bad at it. So like I like Jude Law. I think he's my favorite part of Skeleton Crew. But am I bummed that he's a Force user? Yeah, a little bit, because he clearly
got the midichlorians.
Yeah. The frequency that which we've encountered them does not line up with the frequency at which people are represented properly in that universe. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. It's like redheads in the Marvel universe. There's too many. It doesn't make sense. Sorry, that was my rant. But
all right.
Yeah. What else have you been watching besides the Skeleton Crew?
That's it. I'm like putting off Squid Games. I know that's like the big thing right now.
Yeah, I tried watching one episode of it and my wife got super stressed out. And so I was like, okay, cool. I guess I have to wait.
I didn't realize they're making American Squid Games.
The show?
Yeah, they're remaking it.
Yeah. That's so unnecessary.
Actually, it's funny. I went over to someone else's house during the week and they were watching Squid Games, but the English dub, the first season. And it took me like a minute to like figure out what was wrong with it.
Oh, you never watched the English dub?
No, we watched just the subtitles.
The English dub's hella good. Like it's really good. It's better than most. Like Netflix puts money into their English dubs for Squid Game. It's impressive. I watch it in English dub. It's
just weird. Like it took me a minute to realize. Oh, because there was also subtitles.
Yes.
I don't remember them sounding like
this. That's true. That's probably because they don't. Yeah.
That's it. I forgot Cap 4 is Valentine's Day. So I got to have that discussion of like I guess this is what we're doing. Sorry.
Oh, that's awkward. Yeah. I mean, I'm excited.
Is that what you did? To be fair, I will probably see it on the Thursday. So
yeah, I would see it the day before Valentine's Day, but that's a must. It's gonna happen for sure. Yeah, it's gotta happen.
How was your New Year's?
It was cool. I just I hung out with my friends, and we played a stupid game that's like a rip-off of Cards Against Humanity. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's so much worse than Cards Against Humanity. So
like
it's
nasty
not even,
or like
no, like worse as in like not good.
Oh,
like it's like every card is like super long to read, and then you gotta like ask the person, can you read that again for me? Like multiple times. It's not zippy. It doesn't work. Yeah.
There's adult Jackbox now that I kind of want to try.
I believe that.
Well, I mean, it's like an official like by the Jackbox people. This is like the adult pack or whatever, and it's basically Quiplash, and I think the drawing one, the Drawful or whatever.
Okay.
I wonder. I mean, I'm assuming they do. They have data on like how many dicks people drew in that game.
Oh, yeah, it was a lot.
We need to cash in on this.
It was so many. It was too many, probably. That's the truth. Yeah, it's I like the Jackbox games. I think they're really fun, but I do think that it was really funny that they were trying to be family friendly when I just don't think that's that's your audience, guys. I don't think it is. I think we know. We know. We know based on all the dick metrics. We know. We've seen them.
All the dick t-shirts they had to make.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I will say, I just as a follow-up, because I know last week we talked about Balatro and roguelikes and Hades and stuff like that. And I will say, I just something fun that Lindsay and I did yesterday. Yesterday. We decided to have we wanted to play a 2-player game, but stick drift is a real thing right now on my PlayStation 5. So I was like, well, let's go play on the Switch instead. So we opened up the Switch, and I remembered something
over there.
What's that?
Stick drift is also a thing over there.
On the Joy-Cons, we don't use the Joy-Cons.
Oh.
We have the fancy controllers. You know what I mean? And I remembered that there was a game that came out this year that I've really been wanting to play with her. It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Splintered Fate. Came out on the Switch in July, and we picked it up. It is basically the most blatant copy of Hades ever made, but with one crucial bonus. It's 4-player. You can do a 4-player roguelike together. And that couch co-op makes it so fun. It makes it so fun. But yeah, every mechanic of Hades is totally copied and put into that. The way the game's presented to you is very much like Hades. It's got its own art style. It's not trying to copy Hades' art style. But if you've ever wanted to play a roguelike, but in a more casual way where like your partner can play with you, you should check that game out. It's pretty cool. It's like on sale right now for like $19.50 or something like that in the Nintendo store. It's quite fun. And you get to nerd out because it's all, I think it's like the comic based version of the Turtles. So, but it's got all like the characters from the comics and stuff like that, and they're all voice acted. Everybody's voice acted through the whole game. It's pretty cool.
I haven't turned on my Switch like in a year.
But if you have not played Hades much, I don't recommend that.
I've played collectively maybe like 16 minutes of Hades.
Yeah, maybe don't play that then. I've also been. I always the other thing I do every winter, I choose a classic show to binge that I've never binged. I did The Americans this winter.
What's her name? Carrie
Russell.
Yeah.
I'm actually 5.
Zori Bliss.
Okay. A lot of
there,
people know,
Spice Runner.
A lot of people know her as Felicity, but
she was in the what's that movie? The Fourth Kind, the Alien movie. I like the movie a lot.
I don't think I've seen The Fourth Kind.
It's like a fake documentary style alien abduction movie with Carrie Russell. A little cheesy.
Okay. But that show is pretty good. It's pretty good. If you've never seen it, it's quite enjoyable after you've gone through a lot of it. In the beginning, I was like, it's okay. I like the part where they're like banging people all the time. That's pretty funny. They like, you know what it is? It's a husband and wife.
Yeah, they're spies.
Yeah, they're spies for Russia in the 1980s, and they use all of the tools at their disposal.
Are they actually husband and wife, or are they like just assigned to each other?
They were assigned, but they have been in America for almost 20 years, and so they've kind of fallen in love with each other. So they've kind of embraced the marriage as a real thing for them, and it's pretty cool. The first episode starts with the awkward moment where a new neighbor moves in, and he's a guy who just got a job at FBI counterintelligence, and they're like, "Is this an accident, or like, does he know who we are?" And next thing you know, like, it just grows into like this weird conflict where it's like, okay, so there's KGB across the street and there's FBI across the street, and only one of them knows about the other, you know, and it's pretty funny. But no, it's not a comedy. The show is not a comedy at all. It gets very intense. There's a lot of people dying, a lot of people getting their lives ruined. But there's some really good acting on that show. So like, I highly recommend it if you ever need to binge some. It's shown up this year like on a lot of like the best shows on like ever on in TV. It's been showing up on those kind of lists. So I was like, fine, I'll watch it. It's pretty good. I like it a lot. It's fun.
We're at the point in our Parks and Rec rewatch where Chris Pratt loses weight
Because he stopped drinking beer.
because he stopped drinking beer.
That's one of the funniest moments in that whole show for me. Is that one throwaway line where it's like, yeah, I just stopped drinking beer. You just get
Chris
the whole
Pratt.
you get the context of everything right then and there. It's so good.
It's funny. It's like that point in like Kim's Convenience where like Simu just like stops showing up.
Yeah. So I did want to before we get into the news, like since we're gonna do this superhero or comic book recap for the year, I thought maybe instead we change things up a little bit. And I know the thumbnail for the show may have advertised an in-depth discussion of what if and Creature Commandos, but I just kind of wanted to talk about those really quickly, since like one, what if ended on 3 days after we talked about it, and let's be honest, it was kind of a dud. It was kind of a dud, right? Like it was pretty lame.
Yeah.
Like it did not fulfill the promise that I was given 3 years ago when that show started.
It didn't do that, and I think by continuing to revisit certain characters, you make that the ever expansive multiverse smaller. And there were also some weird, like I'll nerd out on the bit where they use Kang's time chair in one of the scenes,
Right?
which would imply that there's no more Kangs, right? No,
I don't think anything is implied in that show in any meaningful way. I think that's kind of the problem with that show, is like it wants to make implications, but at the same time, it completely shows that there are really no meaningful stakes in any episode.
Yeah,
that apply to the universe we're concerned with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of double back on what really matters and what doesn't matter.
Yes,
it just creates like this very, specifically in those episodes, in the episodes where they're I guess multi-story arcs or multiverse arcs or however you want to name it. But it's over. That is the last.
It's over, and I gotta say, like, I don't really care that the Watcher took these 4 characters that were very unique to this show, right? The fourth one being the amalgam of Storm and Thor, played by Alison Seeley Smith from X-Men '97, and that was a joy. It was such a joy to see her do her grandstanding speeches, but as a Thor. But there was no real gravitas to any of it.
Because 2 of the 4, I mean, at this point, godlike beings are not. They're just new, and it's not that I don't want new characters, but it's like you're telling me Birdie's gonna be like saving the multiverse now.
I know, Birdie. Like, I thought it was cool that they were all women. I thought it was cool that they name dropped them as the Exiles, which was kind of cool. But it was also kind of weird that like there weren't more X-Men in the Exiles, because it's an X-Men title. But I do like that they at least squeezed one X-Men in there. Like they got a big one in there for sure. But I just didn't care that this was how Captain Carter's story ended, or this is how, this is this is the continuation of Kaori and Birdie and brand new Storm Thor, their story. Like they're now Watchers. Like it didn't mean anything to me, you know. Like it's did I appreciate
like
that
Watu's kind of a dick. Like,
did I appreciate that he said I am a Watu? And I don't, has he ever said his name in the show before?
I think yes,
I
yeah.
thought he says it at the beginning of every episode.
I'm pretty sure he does, yeah.
Yeah, but I like that he actually like said it, you know, in that moment. But yeah, I just didn't like.
I don't think Watu's a good guy in the story.
I think he is. I think he is in that he recognizes that the important thing to be doing, if you're going to be watching everything, is to truly see what's going on. That's a cool lesson for sure. But I think that the problem with this show is they showed us what it could have been in the last 5
Oh, yeah,
seconds
the
of it.
highlight reel of like all the other
The highlight reel
shit.
of all the odd ideas they had that didn't get to be its own show. God damn it. That would have been way better than what we got. I just wish they would have been more into the idea of being an anthology series rather than a continuing series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it bums me out that we couldn't just have the Marvel version of Black Mirror in this show. Like, you know, like I get that the joke is Watu always interferes, like that's his thing in the comics, but like, you know, he's got a lot more comics where he just you're just in awe of the story that's happening, and I wish we could have just done that. I wish we could have not been so
You
like
could have
this
had
felt
like easily like a Rod Sterling Twilight Zone situation.
Sterling.
Sterling.
No
Yes.
T.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. It should have
Quick
been that.
intro, quick outro.
It should have been that, and that is what the comic is. It's Twilight Zone with Marvel characters. And I just feel like this show just it's got I think they feel that they've trained their audience by now to be so invested in the ever continuing story that even What If had to be part of that. You know what I mean? And it's like, come on,
Well,
man.
as we look at, there's 3 seasons worth of shows. I think I'm gonna say a good third of them for me are duds. I feel like in that I don't think that's not a good thing.
That's fair. I won't even argue with you on that one, dude. Like it's pretty fair. It's pretty fair.
Now that it's over, what is or what was your favorite What If?
Honestly, like I think one of my favorite What Ifs, like well, one, I did like the zombies one just because like it got
you get more of it.
I know. But I honestly, I think looking back on all of it, one of the ones that I hold most dearly to me was the Captain Carter one because
The first episode?
because I think that really set a cool tone and it got to do something cool, which is take an underutilized actor from the MCU and expand on them, you know what I mean, and let them be something significant. Unfortunately, that's the wrong lessons were learned from that, and then we got a whole bunch more Darcy throughout the rest of, you know what I mean. But yeah, in hindsight, I really loved that episode, especially because of the argument we had where you couldn't believe she could lift a truck, and like it just got so silly because you couldn't suspend your disbelief in a show called What If. That's amazing. But yeah, no, I think one of the other like of this new season, I still think the Agatha Kingo episode was probably my favorite of the new season. I think it was cool. It was cool to see that pairing, and like you said, I really do think Eternals needs more love than it's gotten, and so that was a fun one for me. What about you?
If I look back on all of them, I really enjoyed. I can't remember the name of it, but the one where Hank Pym kills everybody. That was a cool episode because you got to. It was a little bit of highlights reels of the Avengers, right? You got to see each of their
Yeah,
moments, but a very different take on each one, or turning point for each one. We You kind of got to reestablish the idea that while those things were going on, there is and was still a Hank Pym in that world, right? We didn't meet him yet. So it's kind of cool to get some lore on what other players were doing at that time. Um, and also, yeah, Loki pops up in that episode too and helps out Nick Fury. Like
yeah,
there's a whole cool like trade off thing that the what ifs that they present you are not too far out of line on what could have happened. I felt.
yeah, and that's a lot of the first season, right? And I think
Mhm.
that's why I love that Captain Carter episode, because it it set a really cool, like, it was a very understandable what if, right? Like, she gets in the thing instead of him. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what happens. You know what I mean? And like, it works. And she's even buffer than he was because she's not sickly to begin with. You know what I mean? And like, so like, but it was very easy to follow. And then like everything that happened, even as they fast forward in time, was also narratively, logically, it made sense, like, and I was like, yeah, that's a really fun idea. Now I'm excited for this show. Let's see where it goes, and some of them they had to do a little bit more heavy lifting than others. Like, my one thing with that one is like the Hank Pym one. I'm trying to remember, why did he go kill? Oh, it's because Hope died, right?
Yes.
Is it because Hope died, right? And I think,
See,
I
I
don't
can't
remember
remember.
why he started killing everybody. That's the trick. Um, but yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Like, it's what, even all of the first season of What If still,
Oh, it's the best season. It
yeah,
by
it still
far,
felt playful,
pound for pound, the best season.
and it still felt like, hey, this show is dialed in on what we want. And then each season afterwards, it just got further away from what we want. And it just felt like, hey, I think they want Moon Knight in a mech. And I'm like, no, I don't want that ever. Thanks. It's so, but yeah, I highly recommend, if you never watched the last season of What If, which I know a lot of people didn't, at least go to the last episode and watch like the last 3 minutes of it. That's wonderful.
It'll
Like,
set
it's,
you up when like four or two randos show up at the end of Secret Wars.
I
I'm like,
know,
who the
right?
fuck is this lady with
Yeah.
wings?
But seeing the visualization when the Eminence was erasing every version of a character from them, like, and you see all the flashes of their other variants,
Mm-hmm.
and like you see, like, there was a saber-tooth variant of Captain Carter, and I'm like, what is that? What is that thing? There was an Elektra variant of her. There was a Captain America variant of Kaori. Spoilers, by the way. I'm spoiling this. Like, yeah, there was so many random flashes of cool 2D art that we got to see for like a split second. And then at the very end of the show, they're just like, here's all the other things we would have done if you not canceled us. Like, it's, yeah, that's how that show. That's so, yeah, thumbs down on What If season 3. It was pretty lame. I guess I'm glad it's gone, but I really do hope that we don't get more mediocre shows like that. I think we got to stop. We got to stop with that. It's just too much. It's too much. Like, I'm very excited that Kevin Feige is paring down the amount of content that they put out, because I want more quality stuff like X-Men 97 and Agatha all along. I don't want, necessarily the other things. I'm not going to name them right now because we're going to come back to them in a few minutes. And then Creature Commandos season,
Yes, episode
we got
seven,
it's episode
six.
6, actually. I guess there's only 7 episodes this season. I was surprised by that. I was expecting 8. But we got the penultimate episode. I didn't know it was the penultimate episode until it ended, and I saw the trailer for next week, and it said 1 episode left, and it's like, oh, okay. I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I feel like they got a lot to do next week. but I will say the thing that I know you're going to say. We got Batman.
We got a Batman.
We got a Batman.
We got a silhouette of a Batman.
I'll take it. I'll take it. It was fine. You know why it was fine for me? Because
more Batman than the Penguin gave us.
More Batman than the Penguin gave us, true. But also, what made it fine for me is I was really weirded out that all of Dr. Phosphorus's origin story involved Rupert Thorne, who is a known Batman villain.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh, okay, so that's like fully Rupert Thorne. Okay, that's interesting. I guess he created Dr. Phosphorus. I guess every mob guy in Gotham gets to create one supervillain by throwing them in a weird science experiment. It's just generally what happens. Yeah. One of them in the animated series, one of them did that to Matt Hagen and turned him into Clayface. It was not Rupert Thorne though. It was
like Chemical X or whatever, or that
it was
Joker.
It was the guy that runs like I can't remember what it's a different chemical plant, but not the Joker one. But yeah, anyways, I was surprised that Rupert Thorne was in the show, and then like I was 10 times more surprised when Dr. Phosphorus murdered him, because I was like, wait, hold on a second. You can't just go murdering Batman's villains. Like, that's not, what are we doing here? Like you can't do that.
Are you cool with him not being me?
Well, I was just, the reason I was not cool with it is because it's like, these are Batman's villains. You can't just take over their business without incurring the wrath of Batman. And then Batman showed up, and I was like, all right, all is forgiven. All is forgiven. Then now, see, that's like I said. It's like I said when I was watching Kraven the Hunter or Madam Web or Venom: The Last Dance. Do whatever you want. Just let Spider-Man fly. Just swing by, just for a second. You let Spider-Man swing by, I forgive it all. So yeah, Creature Commandos, this episode gets a thumbs up and a pass for me because Dr. Phosphorus is officially, in Batman's universe, and that's
it was a good episode. I think I'm with you on like the story just kind of feels like, oh yeah, we do have one more to wrap this all up. Like, I guess like it.
Yeah.
Not a lot of story happened. New story happened in this episode. It was again, all these are flashback. Next week seems to be like a Nina flashback.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously next week has to be Nina and Frankenstein coming to a head, because that's the other thing that's been building up for the whole season, right? Like, I will say.
You mean the bride or Nina?
Oh, sorry. I mean the bride. The bride. Yes. You're talking about Nina is the fish person, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that'll be like one of the 3 stories going on. Yeah. But I do like the episode. I think it was fun. I think it's funny.
Dr. Phosphorus totally gave that girl cancer.
Absolutely. That whole family got cancer for sure. I did like Weasel's story where he just playfully befriended a pack of wolves and they became his pack. And then then he had this weird delusion that the girl that died in the fire was actually the princess. And he's like, oh, I should go see the princess. Like, you could follow his weird deranged logic for why he decided to head towards the castle. Everybody ended up heading towards the castle by the end of the episode. And it was cute. It was funny. But like, I do think the weird thing about the show, which by the way, it doesn't matter if I think it's weird because it did get renewed for season 2 already. So my opinion doesn't matter if I have anything negative to say about it. But I do think it's weird that like the whole season minus 1 episode takes place in Pekolistan. Like, I don't know. I felt like I thought we were gonna get like when they left Pekolistan, and then we got a whole episode with Clayface and stuff. Like, I was like, cool. All right, we're gonna see these guys go on adventures outside of this one, area. And then they're like, nope, time to fly back to Pekolistan. And I'm like, damn it, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's like, I guess it's a safe place for them to destroy, so it doesn't.
It just feels too much like the Suicide Squad movie that they did, and I wished it had a little bit more. If you're going to be animated, you don't have to be locked into a single location. You know what I mean? Like, you could do this anywhere. It could be wherever you want. So I was hoping it would just be a little bit more variation in scenery and stuff. So, but that's just my one little gripe, you know. But hey, we got a season 2, so we'll get more of it. And yeah, what about you? What are your thoughts on this one?
It's on par with the others. I think I like I like this one more than last week. So I'll say that. Just because I really just don't like Weasel.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
But I don't think I'm excited for these, right? Like I don't. Not once throughout this or season, I'm like, maybe I'll stay up at midnight to watch this one. Like maybe they just exist, and in a post Superman trailer world, I'm like, I think I'm ready for Superman now. Like
I've been ready for Superman for a while. Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. I think that's enough to satisfy what I wrote in the description of this episode, which is that we would be discussing those 2 shows and saying goodbye to What If for possibly ever. And, you know, we won't be back next week to talk about Creature Commandos right away because you got some obligations that you're going to be doing. So we'll take a break next week. And then I think, when does My Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man come out?
The 20th or 29th? 29th.
Oh, okay. All right. So we'll have something else to discuss the following week, but we will follow up on Creature Commandos in that episode that we discussed this, just to see how it all ended up impressing or depressing us at the very end. I'm pretty sure it'll probably please us at least. But do you have any news you want to get to before we do our little year in review?
I have no additional news to share at this time.
No additional news? Then I guess cue the spotlight because that's what we're doing. All right. It was, you asked me earlier how did my year go? And unfortunately my year, like my answer to that is intrinsically married to the volume of and the quality of superhero content that we received, just because that's my sad existence. All right. So like, you can judge me in the comments if you want, or you can just be, equally commiserating with me. I thought it was a pretty impressive year, considering that we had a writer's strike for a year and a half prior to this year. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like we still got a lot of pretty cool, I wouldn't even say still, we got a lot of really good quality content from Marvel, DC, and others. You know what I mean? So I thought it'd be fun to play a game with you, Ricky, and I don't have any fancy graphics going on, but I will make your list for you as you go. I want to do a blind ranking.
Ooh.
I'm going to give you a list of 10. I'm going to give you 10 different superhero / comic book, I wouldn't even say movies and or TV shows that came out this year. And you got to tell me where you'd rank them without knowing what's coming next.
Okay.
Fair enough.
Have I seen all these 10 things?
Maybe not. That's what's even funnier about it. It's possible you haven't. Like, I think that's what makes it funny. Because you don't necessarily watch everything. But yeah, so I'm just going to name them off to you, and you can tell me, you just give me a number where you want them to go, where you want them to go for right
1 through 10.
Right? 1 through 10. 1 being the best.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You want to start it off? Echo.
4.
All right. You want to tell me why? What was your logic in putting?
I think it brought back the cool parts of the MCU in terms of showing the spotlight on a different, entirely different place in this universe, right? They're in the middle of Oklahoma, focusing on a character that's kind of doing her own thing that's adjacent to other A players, but at the same time, not as intrinsically tied to them. So it was just nice. It was neat to see this little sliver of the MCU, and not really have it loop into other things as well. It really does kind of exist on its own slice. At the end, there's a setup, but there's a setup for Kingpin, right? But it's not.
I mean, I think you got way more than just a setup for Kingpin. He was a pretty big part of that whole show, and you learned that he had like he built a whole technology specifically to understand his deaf adopted daughter's like communication, but also was too lazy to ever learn how to talk back to her. Like, we got a lot of Kingpin there in that one, but I respect it. I respect that you're playing it safe by putting that one at number 4. Next up, Kite Man. Hell yeah.
Oh, I did not watch Kingpin. Yeah. So that will go to 10.
Wow. All right.
I'm burnt out on Harley Quinn. I know there's one more season left. Ready for that to be over.
All right. Fair enough. I will say you're gonna regret putting that at number 10, but it's not great. I do love Stephanie Sue. I do love that a lot of the characters from Harley Quinn are in this. I don't love that they couldn't get Giancarlo Esposito to be Lex Luthor, and Lex Luthor is a very prominent character in this season. And unfortunately, he's voiced by Lance Reddick, R.I.P. But yeah, I don't think Kite Man Hell Yeah got renewed, right? Like, I don't.
No,
it's just gone. It's gone. So we'll see how that 10 spot holds up for you. Okay, how about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem Season 1?
I didn't watch that. So it goes to 9.
Okay.
It's the same voice actors as the movie, though, right?
Yeah. It's pretty great. I actually liked it more than.
Is it the same writers?
I don't know.
I do like that movie a lot. That was last year, right?
It was last year. Yeah. Fun fact, even though this was a Paramount Plus exclusive in August when it came out, it is now available to watch on Netflix. So they need cash fast. That's what that tells me. I honestly, like, if you never watched it, give it a chance, because like I think the coolest thing about this show is that they used the space that they had. Right? They knew, okay, now we're not boxed into a 2-hour episode or a 2-hour movie where we got to have a villain and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Now we can actually like do episodic storytelling. And so what they did is they kind of did it like Justice League, like the old cartoon, where every like 1 or 2 episodes was focused on a specific turtle. And you actually got to meet them and understand more about them.
Does it set up a Shredder?
I'm trying to remember if it does. I thought the movie
Krang.
does. I thought the movie.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But this takes place after the movie, right?
Yeah, but it goes in a different direction where it's not interfering with the movie, but giving you more of like, what are the repercussions of that movie? You know what I mean? Like, that movie, as a reminder, Superfly detonated that whole thing in the water, like, and maybe that had some repercussions on a lot of things that exist.
How do they get around with the no Jackie Chan?
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny how they get around it. He, at the end of the movie, how he is in love with that cockroach character. I can't remember her name right now. he is now so in love with her that he is practicing speaking vermin. So he only speaks in her language through the whole movie or
Pretty
through the
good.
whole show.
That's pretty good.
It's hilarious. Or whenever he actually does speak, he's voiced by Raphael, who is telling the story, and he tries to do his best impersonation of Splinter.
Oh, how does it? Does that work?
They make fun of him because they think it sounds like Batman.
Okay.
It's not racist at all. It's very it's just a bad Batman impersonation. You know what I mean? Like, so that in itself was such a charming way that of dealing with the absence of one of the main actors that I was like, all right, I'm down for this whole show. So I'm sad you put it at number 9, but I forgive you because
Is
you didn't
Io in
watch
that
it.
show?
Yes.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Damn near every episode. Yeah. Yeah, they got her. They didn't. I think Splinter's the only one they didn't get. So like, Ray Fillet is in the show. Oh, I don't think Paul Rudd is in the show. I could be wrong. I could be wrong about that one. Paul Rudd might actually be in the show. But Ray Fillet is definitely in the show, aka Post Malone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Natasha Dimitro and like a bunch of a lot of the mutants that live with them. That's the fun part, is you get to see what their new larger family looks like now. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they're all buddies.
Yeah, so you should definitely check that one out. It's a really fun watch. Animation obviously is different, but it still feels like in the spirit of the movie. So cool. All right, I'm gonna throw another one at you. Let's go with Agatha All Along.
Ooh, I'll put at 5.
You want to tell me why that one goes below Echo?
Psycho. Because I enjoyed Echo more.
Wow. Okay.
I think I enjoyed Echo more. I don't take that as like Agatha's being a bad show. I don't want that to be like the take from it. I thought Agatha was great. I thought it was a good follow up to WandaVision. You know, that's what it is. And it did some really cool things for the magic part of the MCU. I thought, at least. And I really love the twist at the end, like a little M. Night-esque of like her whole Witch's Road is bullshit. So like, when you go back in hindsight, you get to like watch the bullshitter like try to get out of like what she obviously knows is not normal. You know,
it's bullshit, but it's also something that did mean a lot to a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it became something out of nothing. Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. I respect it. I would have put Agatha way higher on my list, but we'll take it. Okay, let's give you another one. Deadpool and Wolverine.
I'll put that at 3. I think
wow.
We've talked about my issues with that movie. I do like it. I think it's a little fan servicey at some points throughout it, but it was a nice. The MCU needed a win this year, and that was by far the biggest win that they got. It reset everyone's expectations for what that universe is currently, right? Because it was not looking good. I also appreciate we got to watch it together. We haven't seen a movie together in like a minute.
That's fair.
That was a fun experience seeing it with you and everyone else at Comic-Con. I also got to see it with Rob Liefeld. That was also really cool to see a creator watch their character in a movie with their fans. Just kind of a neat. I know you as much as you don't like the man's art. I can imagine as an artist that how cool that moment must be.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna knock what he created. Like, I think he has a legacy that he can be very proud of. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, like, it's cool. Like, I think that's cool that you got cool experiences out of that. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was a really it was a cultural moment, right? Like it was definitely a big part of the year for a lot of people. And so I can respect that you put that at number 3. I don't think it's the best thing that came out this year. I think I'm happy that you saved that number 1 and 2 spot just in case, because I think you're hoping for something really good to go there, and I'm going to give it to you right now. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you Madam Web.
I don't hate that. That's a fun movie. It really is a fun movie. That was Valentine's Day last year. I think it got more hate than it deserved. I feel like the early reviews killed or attempted to kill that movie. That's not to say it's good.
Adam's reminder, this is what your list is looking like right now.
Yeah. But Madam Web's fine. It's fun. It's a story. It's cohesive. It has a beginning, middle, and end. For the funness of it, I'll put it at 7.
Wow. All right. Cool. Good to know.
The 8 for Craven.
Oh, okay. Interesting that you assume that's where that's going. Okay, here, I'm just making these bigger for us. Cool. All right, next up, Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths. We'll just call that part 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I only saw part 1.
I felt like that would be unfair to do it as each part.
Yeah. Were they all good? Did you watch all of them? Was the first one the best one? I've heard actually really good things about The Watchmen. Not totally side tangent, but
that may or may not be on my list here.
No. I did not watch that either.
I know. I could tell. There's a lot of things.
We'll put Crisis at 8 then. If I haven't seen it.
Fair enough.
Is that where is the Crisis storyline what the DCU arc should be? Whatever their main.
Not anymore, because they blew it there. Like, I don't think they need to do Crisis. I think that at this point, Crisis is now their crutch. I think the DC universe can be more than Crisis on Infinite Earths. It has enough rich stories that they can pull from.
Mm-hmm.
I know that people would have loved to have seen Crisis done on the scale that it deserved to be on. But I think that one has to be tabled for a while. Let's just like enjoy living in that universe before we fully kill it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's their Secret Wars, basically.
And so I think as a cartoon, it kind of worked because it was a celebration of all the cartoons that had ever existed in the DC universe or in DC animation, like, so that in itself was kind of fun, but I just didn't really care enough about that, you know what I mean? So you get to see like the Super Friends universe come to an end. You get to see like the Justice League Unlimited universe come to an end. You get to see Batman fighting the Joker one last time, and it's Kevin Conroy, but it just comes off as like it doesn't have the
like
weight,
soulless.
Not soulless. It just doesn't have the impact that I think they hoped for. You know what I mean? And it just came confusing because there's too many characters like to follow, and yeah, I didn't love it, but I just wanted to. I knew you never watched the other two because, so I'll throw you a bone here. I'll throw you a good one that I'm pretty sure you've probably seen. Let's see. I don't think it's fair. I'm not gonna put Creature Commandos on there because it's you only got one.
Next week can shit the bed.
Yeah, exactly. So what we'll do instead is Suicide Squad Isekai.
No, I don't watch that either. Has Peacemaker in it though, right?
Yes, it does have Peacemaker in it.
What's my lowest one?
Nah, I'll give you a pass on this one because I knew you didn't watch it, and it's funny. I have not watched that one too. I tried watching it. The bummer for me was that it was only dubbed, or not dubbed. It was only subtitled, and I like to be doing other things when I'm watching my stuff sometimes, like especially if I'm not sure it's going to be good. And I couldn't watch. There was no dub version of it, and I was like, if you're not going to dub these characters that I know what they sound like, I don't know if I'm going to watch you right now. So I know that might be a hot take for people.
That's kind of a hot take.
It is kind of a hot take, but like I didn't feel like reading my Suicide Squad movie or bothering to learn Japanese for it. So yeah, I didn't watch it yet. I may watch it sometime, but I'll give you a pass on that one because I was just trolling you. All right, here we go. I'm gonna give you X-Men 97.
That's one, right? Yeah. I think for a show for me that was consistently good week after week, it also introduced me to
Well, you guys were hating on that Mojo episode.
the nuances of that universe and what the X-Men are and what they represent. That show pulls a lot of weight, and it executes on its ideas well, and it sticks to landing well. Like they a show that makes you think, right, is at least in me inherently good. And X-Men Ideas presents some really complex themes about society and how we treat people, how we treat certain people, and presents it in this Marvel superhero lens. But it never loses that message throughout, right?
Yeah.
They never backhandedly try to walk back anything that they're saying. And at the end, even when they win, they don't really win, right? They save the day, but they save the day of a planet full of people who hate them. And it's that show, man, does some really cool things, and I can't wait till 2026 until we get some more.
Well, you know what? At least we don't have to wait till 2027 like we do for the Batman Part 2 now.
Oh yeah,
that is ridiculous.
Hey, but now the Clayface won't go. They're going to come out pretty close to each other. So,
yeah.
Does that mean the Penguin's after Penguin season 2 is after that? Is there a Penguin season 2?
I don't know, man. That's so crazy to me. Colin
Farrell's makeup, he'll look the same.
I'm not going to give you Watchmen Part 1 because I know you didn't watch it, but I do highly recommend it if you ever read the book. It is 100% a perfect translation of that book done in animation. It doesn't try to do anything beyond what the book does. It just is the book.
Are both parts out?
I don't think Part 2 is out yet. Weird coincidence. The main actor Matthew Rhys from The Americans plays Dan in this Watchmen, and he's excellent in it.
No, real quick, the book, the Watchmen are their own universe, correct?
Yes,
but recently they've brought them in.
It was in one of the many relaunches of their universe. They revealed that, like, I think Dr. Manhattan was behind or orchestrating some shenanigans behind the scenes, like Universal stuff going on. I honestly did not read that because I just get weirded out when they try so hard to incorporate the Watchmen into the larger universe. Like, it's just like, it's okay, guys. It can just be a good story because it was. Like, it doesn't have to be more than that. It's fine. It's okay. Venom: The Last Dance. You got 2 spots left.
Venom: The Last Dance. So,
you still haven't seen Venom: The Last Dance?
No, I haven't. I'm going to be on a plane Monday, and I think I know what I'm going to watch. It's a good. I would assume it's a good plane movie.
I guess. yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's just a fun movie. So okay, cool. Well, you're making this really easy. You're exposing a lot of holes in our in this show here. Is it?
It's like that I only watch what I need to watch for the show.
Damn it, Ricky. Yeah, I can safely say that I've watched every single one of these things that I've had you. I should have done this damn list. All right, finally, the last one I'm gonna give you. I know you're looking forward to it. I can't believe you put Craven the Hunter at number one. No, I was gonna give you the penguin, or not number one, the penguin. You happy with that at number two?
Yeah, I'm happy with that number two.
All right, fair
It's
enough.
just another fun show. Really doing a deep dive on some characters that don't really get a lot of love, and playing them in, and I think a much more serious tone that we're used to, but also staying true to what those characters are. I know. Throughout our episode, I had my doubts on if he was going to kill Vic or not, and you're like, "Nah, he's got to kill him." And even knowing that, right, it still doesn't take away from the emotion of that scene.
Good. I'm happy that I didn't spoil it for you because I agree. I totally knew it was coming, and I still appreciated. I wasn't like cheering, you know what I mean? I wasn't like sitting there being like, "Yeah, I was right." No, I was like, "No, I always saw this coming," and it is the reason I saw it coming is because narratively it made the most sense of what
Mm-hmm.
it needed to happen. Also, the way Sophia was punished, I didn't see that coming, and I really loved it though too. You know, I did love that her greatest punishment is going back to Arkham. That sucks for her, man. So yeah, what you happy with this list here? This is
I'm
a
happy
lot
with
of
that list.
this is about three like 2/3 stuff you watched. And then some other stuff that you should probably go watch. Maybe
I
not
mean, the stuff I
necessarily.
didn't watch, right? It's at the bottom, so I did good there.
Well, I think Mutant Mayhem is probably better than Venom: The Last Dance and Madam Web for sure. I would say there were some honorable mentions that of other things that came out. I'll just give you the list. Tell me if I missed anything for what came out this year. We got Creature Commandos. We already mentioned. We're not going to rank that one because it's still got one to go. There was What If. I didn't want to put you through that torture.
Yeah.
I feel like that would have gone pretty low on the list. Craven the Hunter was there on the as another thing that came out this year. Watchmen Part 1, as we discussed, you should watch that. It's really good. I would be happy to do 2 weeks from now if you want to talk about that
I'm
one.
upset that we didn't talk about the show. The show.
We weren't doing this podcast when that show came out.
Before that.
That is one of the greatest comic book adaptations of all time. So I would happily do a rewatch, but I don't think that we can do that without having guests on that show for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'd love to do that one as a rewatch. It's excellent show. My Adventures with Superman season 2 came out this year. I absolutely love that show. I think it's an excellent, refreshing take on Superman, and it's just a joy to watch. I know it's jarring for a lot of people because they do so many things in different ways. People call it the Sailor Moon version of Superman and stuff like that. I really love that show. I think it's great. Also, Superman and Lois ended this year, season 4. I cried like a baby. That also is an excellent Superman show.
I went to the Comic-Con panel. I got what I needed out of that.
Nice. Yeah. And another honorable mention, Transformers 1. Honestly,
I'm surprised you didn't throw that on the list.
Movie, you're way better than like half the stuff on this list. You're better than half, at least. Transformers 1 is one of my favorite movies of the year. It was such a joy to watch. I let me make it clear to you how much I enjoyed that movie. My TV in my living room is a Google TV, so it has like it has like the smart functions where it tries to like recommend stuff to me, and like it always has like a tab for free TV where like you can go watch like stuff on Pluto or Tubi or whatever without a subscription.
Mhm.
There is a channel on Tubi that's called the Transformers channel, and I guess I've just given enough data to Google that it knows how much I love Transformers.
You've been
And so
targeted.
I'm targeted, and it shows me every time Transformers Generation 1 cartoon is on TV, and I am a sucker, and I always have been putting that on in the mornings when I'm watching eating breakfast. I can't stop putting that show on, and I think largely it has to do with I've been riding the high all this last half of the year, or this last third of the year, because of Transformers 1. That movie is so excellent. If you've never seen it, if you've never even been introduced to the Transformers, I think this is a really great starting point to watch, to learn about that universe. It's really fun. It's cool, and you don't have to be like all butthurt that it doesn't have Peter Cullen, because if it's your first movie, then you don't even know. It's okay. It's okay. But yeah, I would definitely agree. Like, to a certain extent, your list is pretty solid, Ricky. I would agree with at least the top three are pretty good. I might put Agatha All Along just above Deadpool and Wolverine, just because for me that movie, or that show, surprised the crap out of me. I never in a million years imagined that I would have so much fun watching a show about Agatha Harkness, and it was great, and it fit so thematically with October. You know what I mean? It was such a fun, spoopy thing to watch, but yeah, but I acknowledge that Deadpool and Wolverine was a giant blockbuster of a tentpole movie, and it's just too important to the MCU right now to disregard it. So it's
What's
probably top three. Yeah.
what's your most anticipated thing for this year?
Oof, that's tough. Honestly, I think it's Superman. I think Superman edges out Fantastic Four.
Really?
Yeah, because I have been a James Gunn fan for a really long time, and I do believe that what we're getting in Creature Commandos is like the tip of the iceberg. It's like he's not ready to give us the full experience until Superman. You know what I mean?
Who has more to lose by getting it wrong?
Warner Brothers. So much more to lose, man. So much more to lose. You know the
You say
answer to that.
now, but we're like
You know
a
the
month
answer.
away from a Fantastic Four trailer.
I know, and even if it's bad, the Marvel universe will keep going. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So if Fantastic Four is bad, and don't get me wrong, Opus Clip, I'm not saying it will be bad, but I'm saying even if it is bad, we're kind of used to that by now, right? Like
Well, I mean, the ball's already.
we're kind of used
We're
to.
getting Secret Wars. Like that starts filming
But here's what I'm saying:
soon.
is the Elektra movie is not good, but it's still fun to see Elektra in Deadpool and Wolverine. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
it's an okay movie, like Elektra, but like, so I can be okay with like some of the dumber versions of characters still playing a bigger part in a larger crossover story. So even if Fantastic Four is not good, I still will happily, embrace them. Like, if the Eternals show up in the Avengers movies, I'll be happy, even though, like, they don't want to acknowledge that universe much at all right now. So yeah, like I feel like Superman. Oh, a lot is riding on that one, man. Like, so much. Like, an entire universe is riding on that movie. You know what I mean? Like, that, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like this franchise can live or die on the success of this movie. Like, Fantastic Four, it's a big movie. Don't get me wrong. It's a very important thing. I know Marvel really wants for it to succeed, but it's going to be okay even if it doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's still a Spider-Man movie. Spider-Man 4 is still in the books, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And Spider-Man 4 will deliver, and it will be fun, and it'll make billions of dollars, and people will love it. And then everybody will be like, we're back. You know, everybody says we're back every time there's a good movie. And then everybody like is crying for Jesus when it's bad. You know, like it's okay. It's okay. Like I think we're like 30 some movies into this. We're 30 some movies deep. Like
Something like that.
yeah, it's okay. It's you can't stop it. It's fine. You know, like it's so Fantastic Four. It's probably going to be good. I do believe that. I want it to be good, but it would hurt so much more if that Superman movie was bad. Like that's, but I don't believe it will be bad. I think it's going to be great. So, but that's
All right.
probably why I'm most excited for that. What about you?
It's got to be Fantastic Four. It's got to be Fantastic Four. That's a pillar of Marvel, right? I mean,
Yeah.
it's not to say the Superman isn't a pillar of DC, but
Superman is the pillar of DC.
It's there's a foundation of other pillars that already exist in the MCU now, so it's cool to get. After Fantastic Four, there's not too many A players left, right?
I mean, sure. Like I get that. Like I get that. I mean, the X-Men are missing. Like, and the X-Men are top tier. Okay, like they are they financially Disney can't wait until the X-Men are good and in theaters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because then they got Spider-Man money and X-Men money. Fantastic Four money will never reach the levels of X-Men money. You know what I mean? It just won't. It just won't do it. I think it's, as a Marvel fan who's been reading the comics for years, I think it's amazing that they turned Avengers into the multi-billion-dollar franchise that it is. Considering, like, I didn't like the Avengers comics back in the day. Like they bored me. You know what I mean? Like I would way rather go read Justice League or X-Men or Spider-Man or Fantastic Four. So the fact that they made the Fantastic Four, I mean, sorry, the Avengers such a phenomenon, like in the zeitgeist, cool. If they could pull that off with the Fantastic Four, that's amazing. If they can do that, like I won't even say if, when they do that with the X-Men, it's just game over. Like, so DC needs to catch up before X-Men comes, because that's going to be when it's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Or it sucks, you know, who knows? But,
historically, they've sucked.
Historically, they've been pretty decent, like some of them. But I think the difference here, like why I put all my chips on Superman, is because, like, here's the thing: like we sit here and we talk about superhero stories and movies and TV shows and stuff like that. Like, let's not forget, like, that guy's the benchmark for what a superhero is. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's like the template.
He's the template for all of them. And so, like, that's why it hurts me so badly when somebody messes up the template. You know what I mean? Like, I need the template to be restored. I need order to be restored in this universe, and I need Superman to be the one that everybody looks at and it's like, yeah, but they couldn't take Superman. You know what I mean? Like, that's Superman is just that good of a person that I want that so badly. I think in the year 2025, we need that pure goodness injected into our hearts. And that's what I want. So that's why I like, as a Marvel fan here, I can't wait for that Superman movie. I'm so excited for it. So, but there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our year in review and our hype for the year to come. You can come back in 2 weeks when Ricky joins us again for more discussions. We might do Watchmen Part 1 if you never watched it. I would love to rewatch that. It's super good. And if you've never read the book, right?
I've read the book, yeah.
Oh, you have? You should
I
do
have
this.
like 2 copies of that book somewhere in here.
Hey man, I don't know.
Watchmen Chapter 2 was released last November.
Chapter 2 was released in November?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
Yep. November 26th.
All right. Well, then do it all, Ricky. Let's do the whole damn show, or the whole damn thing.
All right.
All right. Well, there you go. We hear it here first. We're doing Watchmen.
Watchmen before Spider-Man. And yeah. Anything else to add before we close this thing out?
Nah, I'm good with it.
All right.
Thanks for playing the game.
With that, true believers, none